We are at the end of the first quarter of 2026, and I bet there's a couple of things that you weren't expecting. This is your host, Ron Wysogarski for the Black Hole of Real Estate, and 2026 has absolutely started out a little bit differently than most people would have thought it would have done. And we had some predictions about interest rates. We had predictions about sales and inventory coming on the market. And I'm not quite sure that everything we thought was going to happen took place, and a few things happened that none of us saw coming. So, let's stack this and rack this, and let's talk about what we thought was going to happen. See, what we thought was going to happen was that interest rates would steadily come down and get to the point where they're, 6%, 5.875, and we were right on course. And then we weren't, because we had things going on in Iran that nobody could have seen coming. Well, at least in the real estate space, nobody was predicting that there would be a war in Iran. So that's taken place. And during that time, the rates have gone from that 6-ish, little under 6% to 6.5%. So that's changed. And as the inventory was increasing, we thought that that was going to continue. And it did until it didn't. And part of it was this thing called the government shutdown, which was going on for 40 some days. And, forget what side of the aisle that you sit on for a moment and just say that maybe shutdowns aren't good and that they never really seem to accomplish what they set out to accomplish. That's about as far down that rabbit hole as I want to go. But I know that part of this equation is the uncertainty of a government shutdown, what it has for people when they're thinking, in their headspace about what am I going to do this year for a place to live. And when the government's not open, a lot of people change their mind about selling your property or delay that decision. So I think that has been a piece of the puzzle as well. The prices have been relatively stable. There are some people thought they're going to shoot back up. Some thought they were going to shoot way down. I don't think any of that's happened. I think it's just kind of been gridlock right now. And we're seeing the market be relatively neutral. We don't see a lot of competing home sales when they go on the market and get multiple offers. There's a few. We see a lot of homes lingering on the market, and I still want to think that most of the ones lingering on the market were just way overly optimistic on price last year, and I don't think that's changed this year. There's a lot of people that have felt that if I can't get my price, I won't sell. Well, you can stay on the market and run up days on market. You can do that. But realistically, if you're not getting a lot of activity the first 30, 60 days, you're probably not gonna. Now, what do I see happening in the second quarter coming up? Well, I think one thing is we need to figure out, is the government going to reopen, like all of it? How long is this thing going to last in Iran over here? And we're coming up on the edge of tax season, April 15th. That day's coming up, and then the end of the school year. So there's a lot going on that's going to really help dictate this market coming up to the summer right now. So right now, I'm just going to wrap it up by saying that the start of 2026 is not what everybody thought it was going to be, and we're not really sure what's going to happen next, but we got a few ideas. We're going to talk about that in the next few episodes. But right now, 2026, it's not a lot different than the end of last year as far as sales and inventory and interest rates, if you look all the way back. But maybe, just maybe, with a new Fed chair coming in the month of May, maybe that will change things. This is Ron Wysogarski for the Black Hole of Real Estate.